Hello.
Hello, Facebook.
As promised, we are going live. We almost didn't come live actually. So so this totally is working out. So we were like sitting here, what are we going to talk about? And Jennifer's like going with the flow when things don't go as planned. And I had so many plans for like how these lives were going to go this week, because I mean we're on fire with creation. We got all sorts of ideas, but it was still like vacation. We just wanted to like hang out and like do our things and stuff like that. So we were just driving home from dinner and it's dark outside. So I'm like, oh, we got to do our live. Not like it's a bad thing, but
we got to do it. We committed.
We committed.
Sticking to our commitments.
And bed sounds really good, but we're going to go live from bed. Ooh.
Not together.
Oh, goodness gracious. But
and
yeah. We'll just...
When things don't go as planned.
Yeah. When things don't go as planned. So, staying in the flow or going with the flow when things don't go as planned. I mean, man, that could be half a dozen times a day or more when life just takes you in a different direction. Or you think that you're aligned and with it, but then when the evidence starts to show you that you're not quite as aligned as you thought you were, because all these obstacles or things are coming in your way, and you have to just shuck and jive and move with that and keep headed towards your goal, for whatever that is. And it could just be getting through the workday, but...
Well, and I think, like, for me today, it was also something that's typically where just a situation for me that showed up very differently. All great things, but we went out on a snorkel trip to Lukey this morning, which I love to do, and I love being out on the boat. And the seas were a little bit higher today than usual, and I got seasick, and I never get seasick, so it was really shocking. And so I'm trying really hard to like just be in the moment and snorkel and enjoy, the reef and the fish, which I do love. And normally it's one of those like really peaceful meditative things for me, and the peaceful part I was working on it today. Working on it.
She pulled through like a champ. I didn't even know. I mean, she's hosting me not only in her home, but also, she was actually there to hold my hand on the boat. But I didn't know it. So she was really a trooper. She really didn't let it shake her, at least in her presence with me and everybody on the boat. So she did a really good job.
Well, and it was interesting though, because for me, as something that I love to do and do often, and to have that kind of physical reaction, and then I'm like, okay, so why is this bothering me today? Yeah. Why is this like getting to me? And just trying to kind of be with that and still be in the moment of enjoying our experience.
Yeah. Hey, Amy. We love Amy.
Hi.
Yeah, and I mean, I know so often, even just in preparing to come down for this trip, there's 2 or 3 things just that weren't... I shared about like on my very first live that I did the first night that I got here. I had was getting dropped off at the airport, and I got was going upstairs already like decently far away from where my friend dropped me off, and my phone was in his car, and I busted, like, I ran down, like, the drop-off driveway in the Atlanta airport. Shelby! And everybody was looking at me like, oh, God. But, thankfully, I was able to turn that situation around. But, I mean, fear was in my heart for a minute. Like, what am I going to do without my phone? And, I mean, I was in complete panic mode. And, I was losing it. Like, what would I do? I mean, I was like scared. And so I was not handling that very well. Thankfully, we made the call, or I got, called them and we got the phone back. Figured it out. But there was a minute there where I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do at this point. And yeah, I'm sure it would have all figured out even if I hadn't gotten the phone out, but I didn't want to I don't want to know what that would have looked like. But think about those times when, It's great, and I've heard this said a lot too. Man plans and God laughs, and it can be so true because we can sometimes, and we were even planning some stuff today, and there's a purpose and there's value in setting goals and setting the result that you want to achieve by doing certain things, but you do have to kind of plan for the unexpected as best as possible and have some options. And like we were actually talking about, I gotta change hands. Can you? Yeah. God, this iPad's heavy. So we were actually even planning the retreat that we mentioned a couple of days ago. We were talking about some ideas for that, and something I'll just drop a little. Like we are talking about doing an interactive exercise within the retreat that involves maybe snorkeling or some kind of sea adventure, because there's a lot to be aligned with some of the work that we're going to be doing in this retreat and how you activate it in your life.
Yes.
And Jennifer made the point today, like we're going to have to be flexible in some of these things, because if the sea's too rough, like you're not going to want to have that experience, or they may not even let you go out on the boat. So there's just we've got to have some flex and flow in this retreat that we're planning, because we have to be prepared for the boo-boo, so our guests and our participants don't feel like they're in that place of confusion. Right. We want them to stay in the flow, so we've got to kind of be prepared to be flexible.
Hi, Marianne.
Oh, hello. So yeah, going with the flow. If you guys want to drop some comments or any kind of story or anything where you've had to continue to go with the flow, like change your plan, change your feelings around the outcome that you thought was going to happen, and how you got around that. Like, what do you guys do to stay in the flow? How do you handle aloha? Lisa, hello. God, we have like so many people. I'm like nervous all of a sudden.
Well, and I think it's really being clear on the intention of the outcome, and being flexible in how that plays out.
Yeah. And of course, like when planning, say, one of the other things we were talking about planning today was a online program that I'm going to be launching soon. And of course there's several outcomes that I want of that, so there's like different stages of things. Of course, you want to have so many people and you want to make so much money, but there's also so much benefit in just the planning and the launching and the progress and all of that. So apply that to any area of your life. Like, yes, there could be a grand outcome that you're looking for, but what are some of the mini steps along the way? And I think we talked about that too with like gratitude earlier this week. Like sometimes the steps along the way, being grateful for the little pieces that get put together to be the big puzzle. And I think Marianne had asked where we're looking at hosting the retreat. Down here in Key West.
Yes.
At Casa Marina.
I believe so. Yeah. That's what we're thinking
That's what we're thinking. So, but...
yes, I agree. Choosing how we feel and embracing potential hiccups. Absolutely, Marianne. So true. And being able to go with the flow, Amy, is so important.
Yeah, one of the things I do with my clients is focus on the emotion that you're trying to achieve in any one thing, and then you can be flexible in how that ends up happening. So today, again with Jennifer, like she was wanting to maintain and enjoy and be able to soak up some of the peace and the meditative qualities of the sea. I mean, so that might have looked a little bit different in the actuality of it
today.
But when if you hone in more on the emotion, you can find the emotion in many different ways. It doesn't have to just be in, again, let's just use like the retreat. If we want 20 people to show up at the retreat, but our main goal is the emotional, the emotions we feel in hosting it, then it doesn't matter if it's 6 or 20, because we can still achieve our emotional goals, our joy and contentment and connection and peace and all this kind of stuff. I was like,
and creating in that space for our attendees.
So some of the goals don't have to be as specific to a number or something that you might not actually have any control over, like the seas or your stomach.
Yeah.
Or, just your forgetfulness. Like sometimes you just have to get really intentional to try to avoid some of those obstacles. And I think though, once you get intentional, you're more in the moment, and you might be able to avoid some of those things that take you out of the flow too. Like when you're really focused on what you're doing and where you're going and some of those things with built-in flexibility. But when you're in the moment with yourself, I think some of those obstacles have a little bit less chance of throwing you totally off your path.
Well, I think Marianne mentioned it earlier, like it's all choice. It's all choice. We get to, in every moment we choose how we feel and how we respond.
Yeah.
So.
And
that's empowering. If we can take a second, like even when things aren't going great, and remember that we do get to choose.
Yeah.
That can bring you back.
Yeah, I had a moment a couple of weeks ago where I woke up in just a crusty mood. I was like, not my spiritual self. It was not good. And it was just like, and I knew I didn't want to be there. But it took me a little bit of time to really decide, okay, I want to feel better. And once you do that, you can change it around, change around your day, change around how you feel about anything at any given time, including when life gives you some hiccups or things happen and they weren't part of your plan. Especially when you're talking with working with or being around other people, Mother Nature. Like you just don't know. You can't predict how all of those components of your plan are going to play out. Obviously, so being able to ride the wave.
Yep.
We have so many like little beach like, what are they called? Like
idiots. I don't know.
We're
tired.
This isn't the English class.
No.
So anyway, okay, I'm just gonna scroll through really quick. Ooh, Richard's watching too. Hey, Richard. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah.
Tonight we are wrapping up our trip. We got one more live tomorrow morning.
Yep.
We're so excited, and we just stay tuned, you guys, for some of the retreat details. It's going to be smashing in so many ways.
And your new program.
And my new program. It's going to be amazing, too. Yes. So keep a lookout. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, thanks for watching.
We love you guys. Do you want to do your kiss, too?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.